Nami. She's the brilliant navigator of the Straw Hat Pirates, a woman who can practically read the soul of the sea. Her journey is one of the most powerful in all of One Piece, from a lonely, bitter thief to a loved and irreplaceable friend. We've watched her grow, fight, and laugh with her crew, becoming not just their guide through insane weather, but also their financial manager and strategic core. But what if that journey never happened? What if back in Kokoyasi village, her hatred for pirates was just too strong to overcome? What if her tragic past and the betrayal she endured made it impossible for her to ever trust Luffy? This is the story of a Nami who stays trapped by her past, whose dream of mapping the world remains nothing but a dream. And it's the story of a Straw Hat crew totally lost at sea, their own dreams shattered before they even get started. How different would the world of One Piece be if Nami never found her real friends? Let's explore this much darker, alternate timeline. The breaking point is deceptively simple. Luffy shows up in Kokoyasi village. He meets Nami. He sees her pain, her struggle, and the strength she's hiding. But in this timeline, when he offers to help, her answer is different. After 8 long years of slavery and solitude under the thumb of the fishman pirate Arlong, the walls around her heart are just too thick. She's seen what pirates do. They take, they destroy, they enslave. Why would this kid in a straw hat be any different? So she does what she does best. She deceives him. In a masterclass of manipulation, she sends Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp on a wild goose chase. She steals their ship, the Going Merry, and all their treasure, just like she did in the original story. Only this time, she doesn't look back. There's no flicker of hope, no part of her wondering if maybe this time could be different. There's only the cold, hard math of her reality. 100 million berries to buy her village's freedom, and she is completely, utterly alone. Section 1. The Weight of Solitude. For Nami, life snaps right back to that same bitter, grueling routine. Her goal is a single-minded obsession. Get the money, free Kokoyasi. Without the Straw Hats, her methods have to get bolder, more ruthless. She's a lone thief pitting her wits against crews much bigger and nastier than Buggy the Clown's. Every heist is a gamble with her life. She becomes a ghost in the East Blue, a legend whispered among pirates. The cat burglar who could strip a ship of its treasure overnight and vanish. But this life takes a heavy toll. Every berry she steals is stained with paranoia. She can't trust anyone, and the cheerful, ambitious young woman we know gets buried under layers of cynicism. The Arlong Pirates tattoo on her shoulder feels heavier every day, a burning reminder of her bondage. Her dream of mapping the world, once a symbol of freedom, now feels like a sick joke. How can you map the world when you can't even escape one small archipelago? Meanwhile, the Straw Hat Pirates are, to put it simply, in deep trouble. Picture Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp just drifting in the East Blue. Without a navigator, their voyage is a chaotic mess. They might still bumble their way from Orangetown and Syrup Village, but getting to the Baratie isn't a planned trip anymore. It's pure dumb luck. They are at the mercy of the currents, with Zoro's sense of direction being a running gag for a reason. Let's say they do stumble upon the floating restaurant. The fight against Don Krieg is way messier without Nami's strategic mind. Even if they recruit Sanji, the core problem is still there. They are a ship without a rudder, a crew of powerful dreamers who can't actually get anywhere. They'd leave the Baratie not with a clear path to the Grand Line, but just a vague hope of sailing east. They're a force of nature with no direction, a bomb that might never go off. Section 2. A stagnant dream and a sunken ship. Back in the Konomi Islands, Nami's lonely war rages on. Let's say, through sheer grit and unbelievable cunning, she does it. She gathers all 100 million berries. She marches to Arlong Park with a treasure chest full of her life's work, the ransom for her village's soul, and gives it to the fishman tyrant. And this is the moment her world completely shatters. Arlong, being the cruel and arrogant monster he is, just laughs. Why would he ever honor a deal with a human, a creature he sees as nothing more than a tool? He never planned to let her go. Her mapping skills were just too valuable to him. He takes the money, a decade of her pain and sacrifice, and as a final act of betrayal, has the corrupt Marine Captain Nezumi confiscate it. This is Nami's breaking point. In our timeline, this was the moment she finally screamed for help, and Luffy answered. Here, there's no one to call. The villagers rise up, just as they did before, but their courage isn't enough against Arlong's forces. The rebellion is crushed. Nami can only watch, her spirit broken. The hope that drove her for 10 years is gone, leaving nothing but an empty void. She's no longer a defiant thief with a cause. She's just Arlong's prisoner, a cartographer chained to a desk, her dream dead, and her village still enslaved. Now what about the floundering Straw Hats? Well, their luck likely runs out at the base of Reverse Mountain. This isn't just some waterway. It's a monster of a current that needs expert navigation to even attempt. Without Nami's almost supernatural feel for the sea, their entry into the Grand Line is a disaster. The Going Merry would probably be smashed to bits against the mountain. But hey, let's give them a Luffy-style miracle. Let's say they somehow survive the ascent and get flung into the Grand Line. Their problems have only just begun. The weather here is a malevolent force of nature, with sudden cyclones and bizarre tsunamis appearing from nowhere. Without a navigator to predict this, they're just fighting to stay afloat. If they somehow reach the first island, Whiskey Peak, they'd be battered and broken. And there they'd run straight into the trap set by Baroque Works. Nami was always the skeptic, the one who could smell a scam a mile away. Without her, the crew is far more naive. They'd probably fall for the welcoming party hook, line, and sinker. The resulting fight would be brutal, and even if they won, they'd have made a powerful enemy in Crocodile with no log pose and no clue how to navigate to the next island. Their journey across the Grand Line would almost certainly be short and tragic. They'd be a ship of fools, powerful but aimless, lurching from one disaster to the next until the sea, or one of its many monsters, finally claims them. Without Nami, the Straw Hat Pirates probably never even make it to Alabasta. They just become another forgotten shipwreck, their dreams of finding the One Piece dying with them. Pretty grim, right? The end of the Straw Hat Pirates before their story ever really got going. It really shows how one person can be the linchpin holding an entire destiny together. If you're finding this dive into the world of One Piece as fascinating as I do, go ahead and hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you don't miss our next What If. We often forget how critical every single member of the crew is, and Nami's importance is so much more than just pointing the ship in the right direction. Now let's head back to Kokoyashi Village and see the final, tragic fate of our navigator. Section 3. The Unchanging Past. In this dark timeline, Nami is basically a ghost. Her fire is gone. Arlong keeps her alive only to exploit her talent, forcing her to draw map after map. She's just a tool. She sees her people suffering every single day, a constant torment that grinds away at what's left of her soul. The personal growth we saw, learning to trust, to rely on others, it never happens. She stays isolated, forever defined by the trauma Arlong inflicted on her. Think about the Nami we know and love, the powerhouse of will and intelligence who stood up to Enel and outsmarted one of Big Mom's own homies. That Nami was forged in friendship. The Nami trapped in Arlong Park is just a hollow shell of that potential. Her brilliant mind, which should be predicting impossible weather patterns, is instead stuck drawing lines on paper for a monster she can't escape. She might hear whispers of the outside world, news of a new pirate era, of wars and shifting powers. She might even hear about a tyrant like Crocodile falling in Alabasta and feel a painful pang of what could have been. But those stories would feel like they're from another universe. In her world, nothing ever changes. The fishmen rule, the humans suffer, and her past is her permanent present. She never develops the climate act, never knows the thrill of bending the weather to her will, and never feels the fierce loyalty of a true crew. Her dream of mapping the world is dead, and so is the vibrant, courageous woman she was meant to be. This is the ultimate tragedy of this scenario. It's not just that the Straw Hat's journey ends, it's that Nami's never truly begins. She remains a prisoner of her past, her incredible potential crushed and unrealized. Conclusion. The ripple effect. So what's the ultimate takeaway from a world without Nami on the crew? The consequences are catastrophic. The Straw Hat Pirates, the crew destined to turn the world on its head, are snuffed out before they even make a mark on history. The journey that would have freed kingdoms and inspired revolutions is over. Without the Straw Hats, Alabasta likely falls to Crocodile. Skypiea remains ruled by a false god. The secrets of the Void Century stay buried, as Nico Robin is probably captured long before she can find the true poneglyph. Frankie might just stay a back alley shipwright, and Brooke would be lost in the Florian Triangle forever. The world is a much darker, more hopeless place. But the most profound loss is for Nami herself. Her real story is a testament to the power of found family. It's about learning you don't have to carry your burdens alone, and that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Without Luffy storming Arlong Park and shattering the very room where she was held captive, she never gets that liberation. Her physical prison just becomes a mental one she never escapes. Nami's role was never just about navigation. She's the strategist, the treasurer, and the voice of reason that often stops her captain from doing something completely insane. She's the glue that holds the chaotic energy of the Straw Hats together. Without her, there's no direction, no money, and no one to plan the next move. A world where Nami never joined the Straw Hats is a powerful reminder of how important she truly is. It proves one of One Piece's core ideas. No dream can be achieved alone. Nami needed Luffy to break the chains of her past, and Luffy needed Nami to find the path to his future. Without that bond, forged in a desperate cry for help in a small East Blue village, the seas of the One Piece world would be immeasurably emptier. What do you think? Could the Straw Hats have survived without her? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching.